So we've been in South Africa now for maybe 16, 17 months, and it's been about 10 months since I made the video We Sold Everything and Moved to South Africa. I wanted to do a sort of 1 year on kind of video. It's not quite 1 year since the video, but we've been here more than a year, because the comments on that video, which was very well viewed at it's got nearly 18,000 views and about 230 comments. Now, some of those comments were kind of fruity, and we'll talk about that a bit later, but there were a ton of questions, a lot of love and support, and a lot of hate, if I could say that. I thought I'd do this follow-up video and sort of talk about where we're at, where we're going, and what's happened so far. So I wanted to answer a few questions from people who have been watching the channel and are interested in what we're doing here. So some of my observations so far, having the privilege of being a travel photographer for the last sort of 7 years, excluding this year with COVID where nobody's traveled really. I've had the amazing privilege of traveling to many, many different countries. So I've managed to see a lot of different cultures and places, and I think South Africa is kind of unique in its own right because it kind of steals your heart completely, but also your wallet at the same time. It's definitely, in my opinion, a heartbreak nation. You fall in love with it, but it spanks you every single day in so many different ways. I say that because it feels to me as though there are a ton of hurting and hopeless people, and it kind of feels a little bit divided. One of the most liked comments on the video is from a chap called George Bryson, and he says, "Living in South Africa is like having a luxury suite on the Titanic." But the very next most popular comment, with exactly the same amount of likes, is from someone called Sunflower, and they said, "Life in the UK is stressful and depressing." So where do you go? I mean, the sense and the feeling that I get is that people are just trying to save their own ass and take what they can get, because the government and the system here is broken and people feel unsafe and insecure. You know, corruption on the highest level is not even a secret. It's blatant, it's in your face. So naturally, you know, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens revolt because they don't trust the government. And can you really blame them? Now, I want to be super clear and say that I have no gripe with South African people, but rather with an embarrassingly failing government. And the only way forward for us South Africans is to vote differently. And I don't mean the extremist guys. I mean, come on, let's be real. That's never going to work. I believe that there is enough frustration in everybody who represents South Africa, whatever your color, your race. I believe that there's enough frustration to spark a change in mindset. We love this country. South Africans love their country deeply, and we all want it to work and move forward. Nobody likes crime. Nobody likes failing infrastructure. Nobody likes grinding every single day to try and make it out on top. This place has incredible potential to genuinely be one of the nicest places to live in the entire world. Now, for us, having moved here from the UK and being accustomed to the UK, the last 12 to 16 months has been a huge adjustment for us. Obviously, things work completely differently on different timelines and with different methods of getting the same thing done. And we've had to adjust and learn to grow and be stretched through those processes. Now, I don't want this to all sound super negative. It's just a preface to say that there has been big change. I mean, this year in particular, 2020, has been a dump truck for a lot of people. My work flew out the window and we had to adjust and evolve like a lot of other families. But having had the idea and the foresight to join forces with my folks and pool our resources, I'm so glad that we did that. If not, I don't know where either family would be right now, given the current global circumstances that we face. So not terribly long after I made the last video, we decided to actually move permanently onto the farm, just as the whole hard lockdown was happening for COVID. And we decided, look, we'll have a lot more space and a lot more things to do if we move out to the farm for the hard lockdown. So we were only supposed to stay here for 3 weeks and then return back to our rented accommodation while we plan to build the house. So if you've been paying attention to the channel for the last 3 or 4 months, you can see that there's no house project going on. We haven't built the house. The funds for that were going to come from my work this year while I was traveling, and that hasn't happened. How we've adjusted and pivoted on that is we've extended the current house to accommodate all of us to live here more comfortably. I think I still have the plans for the house somewhere here. We had plans drawn up and then they got put in a cupboard somewhere. I don't know. It was many thousands. I think it was close to 10,000 Rand to have a plan drawn, and unfortunately that's just become a drawliner. One thing we've definitely learned is that it's kind of like a black hole or a bucket with a hole in it. No matter how much you pour into it, there's always something to do. Since the fire, we've been redoing fencing. We're also on weekends working on the extension on the house so my folks can be comfortable where they're living. And it's a never-ending list of things to do. But we are busy people. We love being busy. We love being productive. And it's right up all of our streets. We enjoy it. The kids get involved. They collect the eggs. They help feed the lambs. They really thoroughly enjoy it. Number one on the top of the list is schooling, for sure. A bonus card for us is Laura is a qualified school teacher, and so she's taken on that burden on herself, which I'm so proud of her for. It's a nightmare having these kids climbing all over you for 7 days a week, 24/7. So that's been one of the biggest hurdles and toughest things that we've had to face. The workshop has featured in quite a few videos, and that is a slowly evolving beast, because it's funny with things like this, once you get to a certain point where it becomes functional and operational, you kind of forget that you need to finish it properly, and you just get into the swing of things. The machinery are working, and my father makes furniture for customers and clients. It just gets used. It doesn't get finished, but it does have to be done. One of the things that is most important is that there are no rain gutters on the workshop roof, so we are not catching that water, and that is bad. Here on the farm, water is life, and we are wasting it at the moment. So that is something that is making my ears hot. I stress about catching that water off of the roof of the workshop. So that is a high priority and something we need to get done ASAP. New passion and hobby of mine, and so there'll be more videos about mountain biking and fixing your bike and getting outside. I mean, the whole idea is to be outside more, and I find personally mountain biking does that for me, because I can get outside into nature. It's quiet, there's no engine noise. I can have that alone time that nothing blocks, and I can just pedal for an hour and a half to 2 hours and get my heart rate going and just enjoy where I am. So I am totally bitten by the bug, and will definitely be posting more about that. We're still learning cutting our teeth with the sheep. It's a very long process and can take some years. Chickens, we need to build them a hen house for sure. Rats have got in and have started stealing the eggs, so our egg production is really tanked from something like 9 eggs a day to I think 2. We're only getting 2 eggs a day. So that is another high priority. You can start to see a small holding. You have a list of things to do, and 9 out of 10 of them are high priority. So where do you start? One thing at a time, start the job, finish the job, move on to the next thing. Other animals we have, just 3 dogs. The new one is Maisie, the pup. She's a little Jack Russell. and she is crazy. She is like a tiny little dog terrorist. She digs holes, she attacks the chickens, she runs after the sheep, eats all of our shoes. She is Crazy Maisie is her nickname, and we love her to pieces. Moving forward, some of the plans we're talking about is, if you remember the video I made about us clearing some land at the top section of the farm, that is going to go under teff for now. It's a feed for cows, and we're going to plant teff in there for the next 2 years, and that will sort the soil out, ready to plant macadamia nut trees in 2 years' time. This is how you build, I think, going forward, is you start to layer up your forms of income over time. Some have said, welcome to South Africa, we're so glad you came, let's build this nation, wonderful, high fives, fantastic that you are coming back to help your family and have an experience and an adventure. What a crazy adventure, it's wonderful, all the best, go for it, this is great. And those are the ones that strengthen me. The ones with slightly extremist views, saying things like, go back to Europe, you white colonizer, we don't want you in this country, just wait until your first home invasion, and then you will pack up and you'll go back to the UK. This is no place for white people, they're going to come and take your farm away. And there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of negative speech, and unfortunately there is truth in it, and I have to be real and say that there is truth in it. Some scary stuff happens here. Not that I need to justify any of our decisions, but this is a very unique situation for us. We are on a small farm surrounded by people we have known for over 30 years. And this is like a unicorn piece of land for us. It's small enough for us to afford it. It's big enough for us to work it. And it's surrounded by people who we know, trust, and love very deeply. The positive comments really feed what we're trying to accomplish here, and I enjoy them and I hold on to them because they far outweigh the negative ones. And so that cements my belief that people are amazing here. So I refuse to be governed by the fear of things that might or might not happen. That's just a little snippet of some of the comments that we're facing. Overwhelmingly, it's positive, and there are some little jabs in there, but I don't mind. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate people's point of view. I will not, unless you're nasty, the comment will be deleted. If you have a point of view, it can be positive or negative. I don't mind. This is a conversation that I think should be started and is a healthy one to start. I definitely want to see South Africa moving forward. I feel South Africa has the potential to be a great, great nation in the world, and it needs to change. It needs to go through a lot of healing and building, and I think people need to come together and celebrate the differences in South Africa rather than being divided by a government who is making things very, very difficult for everyday people. Yes, absolutely. There were some times where we thought, okay, this is too hard, we can't do this, this is way out of our comfort zone. The first one that springs to mind is when the fire hit. You just want to put your head in the sand or just run. And it's totally overwhelming, and we just didn't want to be it anymore. We lost the taste for it, and we're like, wow, if this can happen in a blink of an eye, we just want to go back to the safety of England. And what helped us push through that is the fact that we're on a mission. We know where we're going. We know what we want to achieve. And sometimes you just have to slap yourself around the face, pull yourself together, and move forward just one day after the next. Just accomplish something every day towards where you're going. Instead of being in a thought cloud of what could happen and what should have happened and what isn't happening and frustration and all that. Rather, we chose to focus on doing one thing and just periodically stepping forward. Just make every day better than the last day. And I know that's super cheesy, but it helped us get through day after day saying we know where we're going. So I hope that satisfied those of you who wanted to see where we are at the moment, a 12-month on video. If you have any questions, certainly there's things I haven't addressed, but please comment below. I'd love to hear what people are thinking and feeling about this. And we are going strong, we're doing well, and really enjoying the challenge ahead of us. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being part of this community. If you haven't subscribed and you enjoy this kind of content, then please do subscribe. Please share it. We're trying to grow this YouTube channel. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.